Hello, thank you for checking out A1 Math, and today we're looking at solving a system of linear equations by substitution method. So the first thing I want to do is go over the steps for solving an equation by the substitution method. Step 1, you want to take one equation and solve for either x or y. Step 2, you want to replace or substitute that value in the other equation and solve for that variable. Step 3, you want to take that value and plug it into the first equation to find the missing variable. So let's take a look at an example. Alright, so what we want to do here is we want to do step 1, which is to take one equation and solve for x or y. So, but here's the deal, you have to pick which equation, and you got to pick whether you're solving for x or y. So what I'm going to do is write out each equation here. I've got 3x plus y is equal to 14. And I've got 2x minus 6y is equal to negative 24. Okay, two separate equations. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and figure out which one I want to solve for. And I want to pick the easiest one. So the easiest one here is to solve for this y. So what I'm going to do is subtract 3x on both sides. That's going to leave me with y is equal to negative 3x plus 14. So this equation is solved for y right here. All right, step 2, I'm going to replace or substitute that value in the other equation and solve for that variable. So I'm going to take this value here, which is y, and replace this y here with it. Substitute. So that's going to leave me with 2x minus 6y is equal to negative 24. So I'm going to replace that y with negative 3x plus 14. So now in this equation, I don't have a y that I can't solve for. And I can completely solve for x like I do any other one variable equation. So what I want to do first is distribute this negative 6 and negative 3x and 14 here. So I have 2x plus 18x minus 84 is equal to negative 24. Then I'm going to combine my like terms, 2x and 18x, and get 20x. And I'm going to isolate the variable here by adding 84 on both sides. That's going to give me 60. And then finally, I'm going to divide by 20. And x is equal to 3. All right, so I have one of my values. So normally when you solve a system of equations, you'll get a value. We've got the x is 3. Now all I have to do is find out what the y is. So now that I know my x is 3, I'm going to take that value and plug it in. I'm not going to draw a line all the way there, but I'm going to plug it in here in my original equation for x. So that way I can figure out what y is. So now I'm going to have 3 times 3 plus y is equal to 14. And then 3 times 3 is going to get me 9. And then I'm going to subtract 9 on both sides. And work. And y is equal to 5. So that's going to get me, now that I know x is 3 and y is 5, I'm going to go ahead and plug 5 here. And that's my solution, 3, 5. Okay, so that's solving a system of linear equations when it comes out perfectly, where you get 2 values. And we'll take a look at some special cases next. All right, so let's take a look at this. Now, what we want to do is follow the exact same steps we've been doing. We want to take one equation and solve for x or y, replace or substitute the value into the other equation and solve for the variable, and then take that value and plug it into the first equation, or the one we didn't use, and find the missing variable. All right, so let's take a look. Now, notice how I always say you can solve for x or y, so it doesn't matter which one you solve for, so it's best to find the one that's the easiest one to solve. So I'm going to write out both of these equations here. I've got negative 2x plus 14y is equal to negative 18. And x minus 7y is equal to 14. So let me write that up here. Okay, now the easiest one to solve for would be to solve for this x. All I have to do is just move this y on both sides here, this 7y. Now, do you have to solve for the x? If you feel comfortable solving for y, you can totally do that. But you probably want to do as less division as possible so you can avoid fractions. So once I add 7y on both sides, I'm left with x is equal to 7y plus 14. So this is my value for x here. And I'm going to take that and plug that in to this x right here. So I'm going to write that out as negative 2 times x plus 14y is equal to negative 18. And this value is going in here for my x. Oh, this should be 14. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and distribute, collect like terms, and solve for y. So once I do that, I'll have negative 2 times 7 of y will be negative 14y. Negative 2 times positive 14 is going to give me negative 28. Then I break down my positive 14y here, equal to negative 18. Oh, should this be 28? This is 28. All right, so now we'll go ahead and combine like terms. Negative 14y plus 14y. It's going to give me 0. My y's disappear. And I'm left with negative 28 is equal to negative 28. And that's a true statement. So when this happened, you have infinitely many solutions. So I'm going to write that out. Okay, so anytime these two, when you work this out and you get the same number and there's no variable, you got infinite amount of solutions. That means you can plug in whatever x and y you want to, and it should come out the same for both. So if I decide to plug in 1 for x and 2 for y, I could do that for both of those, and it should be fine. So that's one special case. Let's take a look at another. All right, so we're going to start off. We're going to go ahead and decide which one we're going to solve for. We're going to solve one equation for x or y. Substitute, and then plug it in to figure out other missing variable, if we can. So I'm going to write both of these equations out. Negative 3x plus y is equal to 12. 6x plus 2y is equal to 18. All right, now we'll go ahead and use this one to solve for y. It's real simple. Just add 3x on both sides. That's going to leave us with y is equal to 3x plus 12. All right, so now we have that one solved for y. And we're going to take this y and plug it in here. So now you got 6x plus 2y equal 18. I'm going to take this 3x plus 12 and plug it there. Now I'm going to go ahead and distribute here. That's going to give me 6x plus, oh, this should be a negative. It's important to write the problem down correctly. So this is negative 2x. That's going to make this a negative 6x. Negative 12. I'm sorry, negative 24 is equal to 18. All right, add these together, you get negative 24 is equal to 18. Our x's disappeared, and now we're left with negative 24 is equal to 18, which is not true. So that's not a true statement. So when that happens, you end up with no solutions. So there's 3 examples right there. One, when you plug in and you get no solutions when it's not equal. This one, when you get the exact same number, you have infinitely many solutions. And this one, where you actually get an actual solution for your equation, where you have one point that's your solution. So remember, you want to go through your steps, take one equation, solve for that variable, take it, plug it back in, solve for that unknown, take that value and plug it back into your original equation and solve. That way you get 2 numbers for your point, an x and a y. Okay? Now, I want to thank you for checking out A1 Math, and have a nice day.